yeah, as we're finishing it, we just had it done, all wrapped up, and big cracks started to show up. We covered them now, we closed them up with a power trowel, but things like this are always liable to happen on big concrete jobs. I'm sure it's happened to one of you guys before, but see, we closed them all up now. But I have a feeling it's just a temporary fix. These cracks will probably start showing again pretty soon. Good morning, everybody. We're here on a brand new project today. We're going to be doing a big foundation here for a garage. The homeowner here is building a pretty big garage. It's a 60 by 30. I'll go over the plans with you in a little bit, but here it is. It's already dug out for us. All we have to do is come in, set the form, set the rebar, hang the L-bolts, and hang all the hold downs for the inspection. We do have inspection the following day, tomorrow. And then if we pass inspection, I got concrete scheduled for the following day after that. It's gonna be about a 50-yard pour here, pretty big foundation. And it's a beefy one, so yeah, check it out. All we gotta do is set forms like I said, and we'll get this.
Hi, Tyler Odell here with Odell Complete Concrete, and today we're gonna be doing this big old foundation here. And you guys are gonna wanna stay to the end for this one because some very interesting things happened during the pour here and after the pour too, the following day. But yeah, we're here first day on site. The homeowner hired someone to dig the footing for us and lay down the clean gravel, which made our job a lot easier. All I had to do was bring in some 2x12s and install it. We got some new Makita gear that we got sent out to us that we're gonna be trying out on the job today. We got some really cool tools that I haven't seen before in the industry, and I think you guys will also enjoy seeing those tools in action here today. For example, we have a rebar cutting machine, which is a sparkless cutting machine. It's a hydraulic powered, battery powered jaw that cuts the rebars you guys will be seeing later. And we also got some more basic tools too, like rebar guns and impact drills and stuff like that. Circular saws we're going to be running and comparing them side by side with other tools and stuff like that. So yeah, we're trying them all out, trying to see which tools are the best here and which ones we would recommend. But anyways, we got all of our string lines set up. This is a 5-inch slab on grade with 1 foot wide by 2 foot deep footings. Here's the Makita circular saw ripping some 2x4s for some big old wooden stakes we're making here, custom stakes for this footing foundation. And this baby was ripping them like nothing. This is on their brand new 40 volt lineup, and all their tools from their 40 volt lineup seem to be very powerful. Very good tools here. Like I was saying, we're doing 1 foot by 2 foot footings, and they're pretty big. However, I had some extra 2x12s laying around, and I was able to bring them here for this job, which worked out pretty nice. The plans also called for number 4 rebars, 18 inches on center, with 2 number 5 bars on the top and bottom going through the footing. So just in rebar alone on this foundation, I spent about $3,000 here, and in concrete cost I spent about $11,000. So just with rebar and concrete, I was up to $14,000, and that's not including labor or anything. So these jobs can get pretty expensive pretty quick.
This is on Makita's new 40 volt system, so it's not their 18 volt lineup anymore. This is all their 40 volt stuff. Works good, huh?
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, here's the Makita impact hammer going to work on these forms here. I'm just hanging them. We got our string line set up. We 3-4-5'd them and 6-8-10'd the lines.
Like nothing, like butter. 40 volt Makita, baby. It's getting it done.
And I believe that's called the Pythagorean theorem, when you 6, 8, 10, or 3, 4, 5, or I guess the next one would be like 12, 14, 16, something like that. And that just checks for squareness along these lines. So when I pulled my lines, we measured 6 foot off of one end, 8 foot off the other, and then from mark to mark, we should have 10 feet.
Explain what he's doing.
Yeah, so that's the 10 mil Viscoin the plan's called for, and basically all that is it's a plastic sheeting, and it's a vapor barrier for the foundation. So basically what this will do is it'll prevent any moisture from coming up into the garage and causing structural damage basically. So gotta put that in there, and then on top of that we'll lay a rebar grid. No sand on this one, just straight contact with the concrete to the vapor barrier. That's what the plan's called for. So yeah, we're gonna hit it up with that and then start tying rebar, start cutting it up with the Makita rebar cutter.
Notice how I got the Hawaiian sun hat on. That was from Kauai. If you guys watched the last videos, you guys would know that we got some vacation time in Kauai from a previous customer. We traded some work for his house out in Hawaii, and then we took the whole family, my dad, my brother, and my mom, and it was a really good time. We have some footage of that too. You guys might see it on one of my dad's videos. But anyways, we got this 10 mil Viscoin plastic sheeting down, and that's simply to prevent moisture from coming up into the garage, and we're going to be laying our rebar grid directly on top of that. And the plan didn't call for any turn downs in the footings. However, we kind of went ahead and did it anyways. We overkilled it basically, and we did turn downs every 18 inches on this driveway, which made it a little more tricky because we didn't have a rebar bender on us. So we were bending all of the steel with pipes, just some other steel pipes we had laying around the job site we were using to get those 90-degree turn downs into the footing.
So we got to use these here to keep the rebar off the ground and the footing. The inspector sees the rebar on the ground and the footing, we're going to be in some serious trouble. So got some 3 inches here for you.
So there's me and Luis bending the rebar down. Literally just a 2-man operation, brute strength, brute force, and those are number 5 rebars. So they're bigger than 1/2 inch. I believe they're 5/8 or something like that. I don't know, you guys can correct me down below though. And that is the rebar cutter from Makita. So that's a hydraulic head on it, and it's just a jaw that crushes the bar. So there's no sparks. You don't have to worry about metal getting in your eye. Probably one of my favorite tools from Makita.
Alrighty guys, so I'm installing some of the SSTB bolts now that it's calling for. They're just anchor bolts for this garage here. It's what the sill plate is going to be mounted to for the garage here. So let me kind of walk you through, show you guys what it looks like and stuff. These are the big 7/8 bolts, so we had to get special anchor hold downs for these. So I already marked them out according to the plan, and these are what hold them in place right here. These little guys, I just shoot a little 6D duplex or 8D duplex through these guys to hold them down. So basically it has, if you're framing with 2x4s or 2x6s, it'll tell you right on this anchor mate. In this case, we're gonna be using 2x4s, so I'll show you how to install them real quick. It's pretty easy. So we're going with 2x4s, so you just line it up right here. Send a little 8D duplex through it. And I like to put 2 in all of them, just to be sure. And here are the big old bolts that this plan called for. I'm just gonna hang these with that green thing now. So they go up from the bottom. Just like that. And now they just hang in there. And then the concrete's gonna get filled up around them. And this is what the framers are gonna use to mount the sill plate to. And then they can start building up their walls from that. Alrighty guys, we're gonna be showing off the Max rebar gun today, comparing it to the Makita rebar gun. We're gonna see kind of how they feel side by side. The only differences I know off the top of my head is this uses a lot thicker gauge wire, and it's doing twin ties, so it's wrapping it twice instead of the old Makita, which does it once and it's super thin gauge wire. So let's get a little look at this here in action. You ready? So this was the old rebar. This was the old tie wire from the Makita gun. You can see how thin this is, how loose it is, right? Try this one. Look how tight that is. This one's sliding around. You can't slide this around if you wanted to. Thing's fast too. I'm gonna hand this off to Enrique, let him get a feel for it himself, see what he thinks about it. Here you go, Enrique. Here's your new pistol. Happy birthday.
Yeah, so this Max twin tire rebar gun is a real game changer from what we had been using. We were using Makita's old rebar tying gun, and it got the job done, but those ties were not the move. I mean, you can kick them and they would break the wire. It was super thin wire, and it was shooting out so much wire per tie that you'd have to just keep reloading the thing, and they weren't even that great of ties. So this Max rebar twin tire it's literally night and day. One of my favorite tools right now for sure. I mean, especially when you got this many bars you're tying, and we kind of overkilled it too because it wasn't exactly 18, it was more like 16 inches on center everywhere, just so we knew we were gonna be okay from the inspection. So we were here very late this day. It was going on 6 p.m., but we stayed so we can pour the following day and we wouldn't have to come back basically. So we passed inspection, it all went good, and now we're here on the following day after inspection to pump it out. So one day for setup and one day for pour. That's how I like to do it, in and out. So as this concrete's going in, we're kind of just picking up the bars here and making sure they're all straight up and down. And we actually took out the dobies that were in the field because they were too high. The bars were too high to the surface, and when it's that high to the surface, you risk, the bars popping up out of the concrete. Yeah, because it's only a 5-inch slab and those are 3-inch dobies. So if you put 1/2-inch bars on top of a 3-inch dobie, I mean, you only have about 1 inch coverage on top of the rebar or on top of the concrete. So it's too close for comfort for me, so I like to just pick it up as we pour back, and we have plenty of guys here to do it. So the footings alone took 30 yards, and then we came around to do the slab, and that was another 20. Good conditions to pour this day. It was nice and sunny, no wind, and it was just a good day. So this concrete in theory shouldn't have had any problems. We did get this mud from Benders, which is a company I don't usually use, but it was the only company I could get to come up into this canyon. So I went ahead and used that company. And for some reason, you guys will be seeing here in a little bit, concrete just, there was something up with it. Can't quite put my finger on it, but maybe you guys can explain the situation because it didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, we thought we had a good load on our hands.
Alrighty guys, so we're here pouring out the foundation. We're on our third truck now. It took 3 trucks just in the footings alone, but we got another 3 coming.
So unfortunately for me, I underbid this project. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's never fun. We've all been there before, I'm sure, and yeah, it was a mistake on my end. I underestimated the amount of concrete that would go into this foundation here. We had calculated 35 yards, and it ended up being 50, so almost double what I had calculated. So I ended eating most of the concrete cost, but that's just how it goes sometimes, I guess. If you guys are a contractor doing foundations or anything like that, I recommend having the homeowner pay for the concrete indefinitely. Then you know you're gonna be okay. And that's because, you know, with footings, you never know how much concrete they're gonna take. The plans say 1x2 footings, right? But in reality, the operator, whoever dug the footings, could have dug them way bigger, way deeper. You have no clue. So it's really not gonna be up to you. So if you have to pay for the concrete, you just know you're gonna be in for a loss, basically. Unless you just overbid it, which is another good idea. You know, you can never lose when you do that, but then you might lose a job, so it's tough. You know, it's a tough industry. I would probably just go with the homeowner paying for the concrete no matter what, when it comes to this kind of stuff, at least, because like I said, you just never know. But we're both floating it now, and it's looking really good. You know, we're not having any issues yet, and yeah, we're just rodding it back. It's looking good. And keep in mind too, none of these trucks were spaced, you know, too far apart. They all got there within 20 to 30 minutes of the next one, so I don't think they were hot or anything like that. There's Big Red running. I used to have one called Big Blue. That was my father's actually, but we used to run Big Blue a lot. You guys might know what I'm talking about. Same exact deal as Big Red over here. But this Big Red was real nice. It lays it down real nice and clean, smooth as glass, and yeah, it's a nice Fresno. My man Enrique here got this baby off the TikTok shop. He said it was like I forgot what he said. I think he said 80 bucks for Big Red plus 3 poles that came with it. Can't go wrong with that deal. But yeah, we got away. We squeezed everything out of the line, and we had exactly 50 yards of concrete in this footing here. If we went over the 50, if we needed like a yard cleanup, we would have been really screwed, because I would have had to pay an extra 700 bucks for a 1 yard cleanup. Luckily we made it. So yeah, I basically spent about 3,000 in rebar, spent another like 10 to 11,000 in concrete, and then we spent about maybe another 2 to 3,000 in labor in this job. So definitely went negative a few grand here, but hopefully the numbers I'm giving you guys can help you in your future projects if you're ever doing one of these for yourself or something. So at this point in the job here, everything's going smooth. We're hitting these edges while the power trowel is going in the field and hitting all that. And it's looking really good. No issues so far. This is an old school power trowel by Superior Tools. They make a lot of good concrete tools actually, but this one's a real old one. And you could tell it's old because there's nothing really guarding those blades. OSHA now requires those power trowels to have a bunch of bars coming down the side of it, so you can't get a hand or foot in there where the blades are spinning. But the old ones I hear are a lot better than the new ones. So this was a nice little tool to get out there and run on top of this foundation to really close her up and make her flat.
Yeah, as we're finishing it, we just had it done, all wrapped up, and big cracks started to show up. We covered them now, we closed them up with a power trowel, but things like this are always liable to happen on big concrete jobs. I'm sure it's happened to one of you guys before, but see, we closed them all up now. But I have a feeling it's just a temporary fix. These cracks will probably start showing again pretty soon. But there's nothing we can do. I mean, there's rebar 18 inches on center, 5-inch slab, and then 2-foot footings. So, you know, things like this happen, and all you can do is try your best and keep going. Nothing we did wrong. It's just how it goes sometimes. So we're gonna try to keep hitting it with the power trowel. But oh, look here, look.
So these big cracks started popping up all over the place. So I had the guys add a little bit of water on top of the slab, and then we power troweled it, and we were able to close them up before we got out of there. However, the next day when I came back to strip the forms, most of them had reappeared. Not all of them, but some of them reappeared. And they're just hairlines. They're not going to get any bigger with all that rebar in it, but it's just unfortunate.
So I started cracking up the foundation. However, we put the power trowel back down on it, and we were able to close up all those gaps and all those cracks. So hopefully they don't reopen, but we're gonna go ahead and put some curing compound on it now and pray that nothing else happens. It's just the way it goes sometimes. It could have been the wind, it could have been the concrete, who knows. Let me know what you guys think about it though in the comments below. And yeah, we're gonna get out of here for the day, and I'll be back tomorrow to saw cut it up, and I'll give you guys an update. Alrighty guys, let's get this baby saw cut. I just finished stripping all the forms here. They were embedded in concrete, so that always makes it a little more tricky, but I want to saw cut this baby. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's just a few hairline cracks in here. I'm not sure why. Let me know what you guys think, but I talked to the homeowner about it and he wasn't too worried about it. I told them too, these aren't going to get any bigger. They're basically just going to stay like this forever, but still unfortunate when, you know, I paid $12,000 just in concrete costs for this foundation. 50 yards here, so. Oh well, what can you do? Anyways, let's cut this baby up. That's perfect. So this is a 60-foot slab, measured 30 this way, marked it, measured from 30 this way, marked it, and it's on the money. So we'll do 10-foot joints here, every 10 feet, so 20. Right there, and then 10. So I got 2 joints going long ways at 8'4", and then every 10 feet I got them going across. So basically each square is going to be a 10 by 8'4", which is good. I don't like to run them over 10 feet, to be honest. And then that'll be the crack control joint layout.
So when you're running solo, it's pretty hard to snap a chalk line. I'm sure you guys have been there before as well. But what I did was I just drove a stake right where I had marked it on the foundation here. And basically I'm just slipping my chalk line right over the stake, and then I'm running to the other side and snapping it. But it was important to make sure that my line and my stake was right on that chalk line, so I didn't miss anything. So basically I just put it on the edge, kind of just like a string line, and then ran it to this side and snapped it. It was money. So yeah, and if it wasn't money, I would just go back and fix it and re-snap it, but I think that only happened one time out of all the times I did it, so that's pretty good. I know some people use like bricks or something heavy, but I needed to have some serious tension on this to get a good, nice straight line, so I figured the stake would be a better move.
All right, let's do it. It's tomahawk time, baby. Oh. So this is Tomahawk's early entry saw here. Pretty cool thing. We're gonna give her a go today and see how she does cutting this concrete. I got my grid all snapped out. It was a little wet, so it was harder for me to get my chalk lines in, but I think I got them good enough, and I'm ready to roll. Let's do it.
So yes, as I mentioned, this is Tomahawk's early entry saw. This is my second time using this thing, and it worked pretty good. I like it. It's a 6-inch blade. I had some issues getting it set up and everything, but once I got it all set up, it seemed to run pretty good. And yeah, it's a triangular arbor saw here, and I think it cuts at 6.5 inches, or no, 1.5 inches depth, and I think that's adjustable too, but I had it set to 1.5 inch cuts on this slab here, or 1 3/16, something like that, I forgot. But yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, it has the guide for you. It's a little 4-stroke Honda engine on it, and you just put that little guide down the wheel, and you stand on the rear side and just push it, and she goes, and she cuts it nice and straight every time. And it works really good on flat concrete like this. I tried it on my previous video, my stamped concrete job. Tried it on that, and it didn't work quite as nicely because it's stamped concrete. Obviously it's a lot more rough, so the wheels don't roll as straight and stuff, and kind of bounces a little bit more. But when it comes to flat foundations and stuff, it works perfectly. So I was real happy with it on this job, and you guys can see how straight these lines came out. I mean, basically perfect. And the beauty of saw cutting it instead of doing wet joints is, I mean, this is going to be a garage, obviously, so when he's doing work in here or rolling his mechanic tools around or whatever, you're not even going to feel these crack control joints when you roll over it. So it's a real nice addition in my opinion. But yeah, the Tomahawk came in clutch for me on this job, and I do like it, so I recommend it for anyone who's looking at early entry saws. This is definitely a nice one. Another good one is what's that name? It's called Medusa. It's an electric early entry saw. It's the one my dad always used to run, but it's a really easy saw, and it's not only for triangular arbor diamond blades, but it's also for just regular diamond blades, so you could fit any of them on that one. Just a little bit more universal, because I didn't know how expensive these triangular arbor blades were, but they're really expensive, so it's something to take into consideration, I guess, if you're looking to get one of these. But yeah, if you're cutting concrete a lot, I mean, it's definitely worth the purchase. And in little sections where I couldn't fully cut it out, for whatever reason I didn't, I just came back with my little angle grinder and finished the cut myself by hand. Technically on this foundation I could have used a big machine for the whole thing, but I don't know why I didn't. I forgot, but I just didn't. But no biggie, if you got a little angle grinder, this will finish the joints. Anyways guys, let me know what you thought about this job. Let me know what you thought about the concrete cracking on us the day of the pour. Like my dad used to say, concrete cracks and ice cream melts, so it happens for sure. No rhyme or reason to it, but it would be nice to know what you guys thought about that situation. Anyways, luckily the homeowner was okay with it, and he was very understanding. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it down below in the comment section. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll be seeing you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.